Hello all, I'm here with a new video for you today. And today, I have an unboxing of a Xiaomi, is that how you say it? Xiaomi? Who knows? I have an unboxing of a Chinese phone, and we'll go with that today. And we'll get into it. But first, I want to talk about why did I order a Xiaomi A5 from China. Well, if you follow my channel at all, which I have 300 subs, so no, you probably haven't. But if you have, you would know that I did quite a few reviews on this phone. This phone here is a Umidigi G9T, which I bought for about $150 Canadian off of Amazon. Now, I had this phone for about 8 months. I quite enjoyed it. It did most of what I needed to do. But after about 8 months, the digitizer went. So now it's barely usable and it's got a ton of problems with ghost touches all over the screen. And because this came on suddenly, I was kind of stuck looking for a new phone and I really didn't want to spend a lot of money. Now, the first thing I tried to do was, all right, well, let's go and see what the local store has for a phone. And this is where I want to say, buying a cell phone has just become absolutely ridiculous. Okay? Like, if I go into a store and I want to buy a Samsung outright, well, it used to be you could pay $1,000, which is insane, and you would walk out with a new Samsung cell phone with, $1,000 less in your bank account and a bunch of features you're never actually going to use on your phone, if you're being real. But, you could at least do that. Well, at my local Walmart here, I had a representative outright tell me that they would not sell me a phone without a 6-month contract. That's absolutely insane. It should be my phone. I should be the owner of it. So here's the thing that you gotta stop overpaying for cell phones, okay? You go out, you get these cell phones, like I saw, for example, one phone, okay? This is the most expensive phone, the Samsung Fold phones. They wanted $80 a month Canadian on the tab. Now, yes, all the prices I'm quoting are Canadian. These are all Canadian carriers that I'm talking about here. Because if you don't know, up here in Canada, our telecom system our telecom situation is just absolutely ridiculous. People complain about America, but trust me, it's even worse up here. Because you've got a bunch of carrier subsidies that basically corner the market, or basically you get like this very limited selection of hardware because they've all cornered the carved out their little market share for carrier subsidies, and no one's really buying their phones outright, which is what I'm trying to tell you should do. Okay? You buy one of these carrier subsidized phones, it ain't really subsidized. Because first of all, you're paying a monthly tab, which, like I said, some of these phones, okay, the Samsung Galaxy Fold, for example, the tab on it was like $80 a month on a phone, okay? But then on top of that, you end up paying more for all of your plans too, because the plans cost more for premium phones versus bring your own device plans. So you're overpaying. And the worst part about it is that, like, you get something like a Galaxy S25 Ultra with, like, I don't remember the specs on it right now, but like these insane specs and everything like that, and it does all these crazy things. And what are you doing on it? Most people are, Facebook, YouTube, text messaging. There's probably only about 4 or 5 features that people are using every day on their phone. 4 or 5 like function, not technically features, because features and software, but my point is that like people like, you know, maybe you're watching YouTube, you're using Facebook, you're texting a little bit, you're calling. You know, basically as long as it has data and it can text, you're good. You don't need all this fancy stuff on a phone. But yet people go out and they spend like $1,000, or even, actually, frankly, even more in a lot of cases, more like $2,000, on a cell phone. And in reality, it's like somebody who drives one of these big F-250 pickup trucks and lives in an apartment. So, without further ado, let's get into getting a look at this Xiaomi phone. I'm never going to get the pronunciation of these right. We got our typical Amazon box. I absolutely hate, part of what triggered this whole adventure, by the way, is that I absolutely hate ordering stuff online. I really, really do prefer to shop local and try to get a, because if you shop local, it keeps the money in the local economy, and, you know, I think that's good. You should keep money in local economies. I guess you could say I'm a localist. So here we go. This is the box. I get a good look at it here. There, Xiaomi Redmi A5. It says here on the box, 32 megapixel AI dual camera with 6.88 inch display. Very curious what they mean by AI in the camera. This is another thing that drives me crazy. If you watch my channel, you know I got quite a bit of photography content, but AI camera everything these days, in reality what it is, it's a sharpening algorithm. But hey, we got to relabel everything AI. Spam filter, AI. Noise reduction algorithm, that's AI. You know, even though it's like stuff that's been around for like 25 years. You know, spam filters are AI, and they're not exactly anything new, and I'm not really worried about the Google spam filter turning into Skynet. Not really worried about ChatGPT turning into Skynet either. To be honest with you, AI is not as sharp as they make it out to be. Which, hey, apparently this knife is not as sharp as I made it out to be either. So, I'm going to try to lift it up, and you see, yeah, it's got a very basic plastic filming, you know, nothing wrong with that. The box doesn't have a super premium feel to it, but you know, it's good, nothing wrong with it. See this side, what's this side say? There you go. 52 milliamp hour battery, pretty good. 15 watt fast charging, I don't really use that. Redmi A5 with your favorite Google apps. Google is a trademark of Google LLC. Isn't that kind of a redundant? You know, Google's a trademark of Google LLC. But regardless, that's just legal stuff. All right, so, and here we go. Powerful octa-core processor. I don't know about, well, all the phones are pretty powerful these days. And secure fingerprint and face unlock. That's something the G9T did not have. It had fingerprint unlock, which was hit or miss. I didn't really use it that much. But it did not have face unlock, which, I'm going to be honest with you, I don't trust face unlock. I won't be using face unlock. Powerful octa-core processor. That's kind of interesting that, you know, we got a $150 phone these days with octa-core processors. So, and we got a nice little bit here. See if I get the camera to focus. Oh, no, it's, yeah, that's way beyond the, oh, no, that's, yeah, this camera's not doing that. So here, I'll read off to you what it says. A mobile phone adapter, USB-C cable, smartphone eject tool, comes with a case. That is a big thing for me, that these phones come with cases. And it actually comes with the manufacturer's address. So let's get a look here. So let me turn the camera around here. There. We got a good angle on that? Yeah, we got a good angle on that. Perfect. This is a very high quality production, folks. We only do the finest here at Linux Invictus. We are the best YouTubers ever, and make no doubt about that. We definitely planned this video ahead of time in great detail, and I am definitely just myself referring to myself as we. So, box opens up in the front like this. And, oh yeah, I probably should not cover it all right with my hand, huh? Wouldn't that be nice? Here we go. Not a bad feel, you know, it's well packed. I like that. I like that. Ooh, ooh. It feels nice. It feels nice. So, let's swing the camera back around on me, because, you know, only the finest high quality productions here. There we go. So the phone has a very nice feel to it. Actually, see, got a nice little bit of gold bezeling there. I quite like that. I quite like that. 6.8-inch display. Now I'm a little curious about something here. So, it says here it's a 6.88-inch display, as I said. See if I get the camera to focus on that. No, it's not doing it. No, yeah, you can kind of see it, but it's in mirror. It's weird. Whatever. So, this phone here is a 6.75-inch display. So, you know, should be 1/10 of an inch in the difference. So, let's see how it looks if I take these two phones and put them right next to each other on camera on live television. So, they're pretty much the same. The Xiaomi is a slightly taller or longer phone, you know, upwards, we'll go with that way. So it's a slightly different X aspect ratio, but they're extremely close. The Xiaomi, though, yeah, you know what? Yeah, I'm horrible at pronouncing these names. The Redmi. You know what? Yeah, we'll go calling it the Redmi. How's that? Even though, you know, Xiaomi, Redmi, GMC, Chevy, same idea. It actually feels quite nice in the hand. So let's get a look at what else came in the box here. So, we got our little quick start guide, if you can see in there. We got this little insert that the phone was sitting on. Oh, it's quite well packed. Oh, hey, we get a charger and a cord. Wow. You don't get that very often anymore because of more profits. Yeah. No, that's not for this country. If anyone in the comments can tell me what country this particular charger's for, I would like to know. Because I have no idea. Not for Canada. And that's it for the case. No matter. At least it comes with a charging block. I have a charging block I can use, so that's not a big deal now. We got our little quick start guide. And the last thing we have in here is a case. I think. Yeah, this one does not come with a screen protector, I don't think. Just a case. Something I really actually like about a lot of these cheaper phones is how they come with cases. And the reason I say that is because the phones aren't really designed with cases in mind, but you always have to use a case on them, and it always degrades the experience. And I'm of the thinking that if they're selling the phone with the case, they're probably putting a little bit more thought into the integrated experience. Now, granted, I paid $150 for this phone, so I probably didn't really think about the integrated experience, like, at all. But, hey. Alright, so we're gonna peel off the back here, and we're gonna boot this baby up. I think this phone is plastic, but I have to admit, it actually feels well made. So, I'm not such someone who like really like dislikes things being plastic that much, as long as it's like a well-designed plastic. Because like, if anyone's into photography, you'll know that like, which I have a couple of videos on that on my channel too, because you know, focus. You'll know that there's some camera lenses out there with some plastic bayonet mounts that are actually quite durable. So I don't mind it as much. The case is definitely not a premium feeling case, but you know, it's a case. It's actually a little tight sliding on. There we go. Feels a bit chunky in the hand, you know, the case. See how pressing the buttons is through it. See, pressing the buttons, it doesn't feel too bad. Not a lot of buttons on this phone. Not a lot of buttons on this phone. Just your volume and your power button. Oh, what do you know? We got a headphone jack, and it's USB-C naturally. I say this. I put my thumb right over the phone. Right over the camera, you know. Great move. So let's see if this thing powers on. Ooh. There we go. Making faces at the camera a little bit. So, see here, it's still booting up. Taking its time. Hi there. This is where we need to put in the Obi-Wan meme of hello there. So, we're going to go English. It's funny that they have an Español Estados Unidos. I probably butchered my pronunciation of that, but yeah. Funny that they have a U.S. Spanish setting. I guess they know who their target market are. You know. Okay. Here we go. So far, it's all pretty basic Android setup. It did not come pre-set up, which I'm quite happy for that. Okay, blah, 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 blah. We got our typical terms and conditions here. Go, grant you. Writing the software, blah, 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 blah. Okay, no. Hey, you had to tick red. I wouldn't be shocked if there is some very sketchy stuff in their privacy policy, but I'm not going to read that for you right now. So let's keep going through. If you have SIM cards, insert them now, which yes, I do. I forgot to put the SIM card in, so let's see how the SIM card goes in on this thing. So, SIM card hole right on the side there. So, now we have SIM card tool. By the way, in case you're ever wondering, this is how you do a SIM card on a phone. You know, not really you take this, you push it into the little hole right there. I know it's not really showing it clear on the video, but there's a little hole on this phone. It's on the opposite side from the volume button. You take this piece, see, and you just push it in and it pops out. Pretty cool. Most phones will come with a little piece like that. If you don't have that, other things will work too. You know, like thumbtacks. There's a reason I got thumbtacks on my desk here. Let's see, it just slides right out. Ooh, that's another cool thing. We got a dual SIM cards. Pretty cool. I don't use dual SIMs myself, but you know, handy if you travel a lot. And on this phone, it's the same. We just pop it in, and there we go. Got an SD card slot too on the Redmi, which I should mention. Here, let's show you guys, bring it down so you guys can see what I'm doing here. Yeah, let me know below what you guys think of this more casual style of content, because, you know, me trying not to make things as polished. Boy, that case get dirty. Yeah, you can see here the G9T also does not have a dual SIM slot, but it does have an SD card slot. They both have an SD card slot, which is lovely. I like SD card slots, even though I don't have a very big SD card for this. Oh, my good SD cards are used for photography, so. All right. So here, I'm going to show you guys something, okay? Most of you watching this video are probably already going to know this, but these little SIM card trays, you got to look for which side. They're cut on like an angle. They're rectangular, but cut, see? See? It's, I don't know if you can see that. Yeah, so on camera there, but it's cut. So you kind of got to, there. You got to find the matching cut side on the tray and put it in. But, and once you pop it in, it just kind of sits in there. So, my Telus SIM card. That's who this, well, so let's see. Brilliant, brilliant, brilliant. There we go, we got it in. Now let's see if it reads it. I am not setting up from another device, but it looks like it is reading up the reading my SIM card, no problem. There, see? We got our Wi-Fi networks now, which I am not showing you. I am not, well, I probably am, but no. No need to broadcast my personal Wi-Fi network, you know. I do want to comment, though. The keyboard on this thing is very smooth, actually. Now we're just at the part where we're waiting for it to set up, which if you've ever set up Android phones before, you know that can take a couple of minutes. But so far, I just want to talk a little bit about how this device here, you know, for And a lot of these budget devices for average people are, is there a meaningful difference between this and like a flagship device? I'm going to say that for 95% of users, there's not. The biggest one that I'm probably going to notice, even though I didn't notice it with my older phone, which used the same technology, is that these Redmi phones use lithium polymer instead of lithium ion. And that means that it's a technology that generally has it's cheaper, but generally has less charging cycles. So the batteries don't live as long. But I wasn't noticing my other phone slow down that much after 8 months of use, so that's not what killed it. All right, so let's go through the rest of the setup here. No, you're not seeing all of it, but see, looks good. So we're just going to go through the rest of the setup here very quickly. Good, I remembered my Google password. Yeah, I do that a lot. Okay, I will be using this device. That's an interesting change for those of you who know these things. I'm not going to show you the screen right now, but it looks like Google's kind of moving away from that Allegra style, which awesome. I hate Allegras. Okay. Phone updated, blah, 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 blah. You're in control. Yeah, no. Skip. Agree. We're going to put the case back on. How's that sound? And there we go. Now we're just getting account info. So far, the setup on this has been a pretty bog standard, has been a very stock, or very close to stock setup experience. Nothing really radical in the setup experience so far. I like the coloration of it. Okay, we're not going to do that right now. Not now. Don't copy. Okay. Yeah, Right now it's just all the naggy crap. But I want to get into this because there's a couple of things with Redmi phones I want to check. I want to know a little bit more about, because I want to make sure I didn't buy a phone with ads in the launcher, which Google Assistant. No, I don't want your stupid chatbot. Yeah, I found that out after I bought this phone, is that apparently some of these Redmi phones have ads in the UI. And I'm going to be honest with you, if I have to watch an ad in the UI, this phone's probably going to hit the wall. I am not a patient man with such things. Now we're back to blah, 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 getting your phone ready. No, do not. Okay. Let's see how bad the ads are going to be. I just got to the setting. You will still see, turn on personalized ads. You will still see ads in the MIUI. Now let's see how bad this is going to be. Because, yeah. All right. So we are now, this is what the home screen looks like on it, the default screen. Nothing radical here. Quite like it, actually. Apparently it's very customizable, but do you know what it reminds me of, actually? It reminds me of, if you can see it again, it reminds me of those Chinese distros that I was playing around with a couple of months ago. And I can't remember the name of it, but that's what it reminds me of. I don't know about you guys, but I find that the Chinese tend to have their own kind of unique look, or at least I should say, like East Asians kind of tend to have their own kind of unique look to their interfaces, where they're very bright, very colorful, and they don't really quite look like, they tend not to quite look as much like the minimalist designs you see in the West. But so far there's no ads in the launcher, which is good. But let me try launching something here. Let's say text messages. Oh, that's your bog standard. Come with your standard Android messenger. The home button layout on the bottom is flipped around, so I'm gonna have to fix that. Drives me nuts. Yes, there's a lot of things that drive me nuts, by the way, but on the whole, so far, see what I mean by, like, Chinese have this very bright, very colorful look to them? I'm going to be honest with you. I'm not going to make any pronouncements so far, but so far, so good. Like I've said, I've only owned this phone for about half an hour, so I can't say I recommend it or not, but I will say that what I see so far looks pretty good, looks promising. So, I mean, like I said, this looks like a comparable experience to what you would get on any of the newer flagships, which I used to. Well, actually, wait a minute. I say I used to use them, but man, it's actually been a while since I've owned a flagship device. But yeah, so far it looks promising. It's going to get plugged into charge, and don't forget to like and subscribe and pray every day.